Barry, Land of News in Melbourne. As you can see, it's a beautiful day here in Melbourne, but that's up in Queensland on the islands, and that was last year or the year before. But anyway, it is a beautiful day here. We're talking to Bill Turner, our wonderful guest in New Zealand, and it's a couple of hours ahead of us and maybe half a world. And we've got Alex up there smiling, looking forward to getting involved in this conversation that Bill is going to re-educate some of our ideas. Anyways, good morning, Bill, and good morning, Alex.
Good morning.
Good morning, Barry. Good morning, Alex.
Morning.
Oh, well, it's afternoon, actually. Yeah, sorry.
It is actually. We've been up a while. We've forgotten.
You're from Queensland, are you, Barry?
No, in Melbourne, mate. We know that Bill, if Mick's up there watching this, it takes 2 hours up there to watch 60 Minutes. He now realizes what we're saying. Took him a week. Sorry, Mick. Okay, Bill, what do you want to start the ball rolling with some information in relation to that name that that surname that everybody jumps out and says, that's not me, and we start an argument. I just realized that you said that this morning. It was a great start to the conversation.
Well, first of all, Barry, I think everyone has to realize that everything is about contract. So every time they say something to you, it is an offer to contract. So at that stage, you have the opportunity to renegotiate that contract or accept the contract or go into argument. Now, if you go into argument, you're going to be dishonorable. So you must stay honorable the whole time. And this is where most people make the mistake. When they get into a courtroom situation and they say, are you Mr. John Doe? And you say, no, that's not me. I'm John the living man. I'm this. Straight away, you've gone into argument. So you've got to take that out of your vocabulary and you've got to look at standing. Now, I remember one time I was in court and I was helping a gentleman out. He absolutely made a meal of the whole thing. So I stood up and said, look, I'll do this for you. And the judge said to me, you have no standing in this court. And I looked down at my legs. I said, I'm sure I'm standing. Anyway, so the most important part is to know what your standing is. Now, if you realize that there is a trust set up in your surname, in the name of the father, that's a trust that is set up at birth. And we are actually beneficiaries of that trust. But because we don't know our standing, we keep going into argument. Oh, that's not me. That's a fiction. That's rubbish. Okay, first of all, someone is bringing a charge. For you to be standing in court, someone is bringing a charge. So you have to find out the role that person is playing. The prosecutor will be coming in as the agent. Now, in any relationship, there is an agent and there is a principal. I can guarantee it's not the judge. Okay, but what the prosecutor is hoping is that you don't know your rights or you don't know your standing. So one of the things I got taught in real estate was the agent-principal relationship. So if there's an agent, there has to be a principal. Guess who that is? Principal has the highest standing.
Now, okay.
Okay, can you see that?
Yes, we can see that document. Thank you.
Okay, the principal-agent relationship is an arrangement between two or more individuals, and specifically the agent of the relationship performs a task on behalf of the principal. Okay? Get that clear.
Yeah.
Specifically, the agent of the relationship performs a task on behalf of the principal. Okay, so what the prosecutor in all cases is trying to do, look at the agent-principal relationship. A principal-agent relationship is an arrangement between two or more individuals. Specifically, the agent of the relationship performs a task on behalf of the principal. Get that very clear. Once you know what your role is, then you have to find out what the agent's role is. He's trying to switch roles. So he's trying to switch you from principal to trustee. Trustee always pays. Now, take the judge out of the equation. He's only there to moderate. He's a moderator. Everyone attacks the judge instead of going to who is bringing the charges.
Yeah.
So when you ask the prosecutor or the person bringing the charges, look, we just need to establish what our standing is here. I believe I'm the principal, Your Honour. I'd like to find out what this gentleman over here is. Would that make you the agent? Okay, this changes the whole situation from, that's not me, I'm the executive, I'm this, I'm that. Okay, it's an agent-principal relationship, pure and simple. So once you establish that standing, now what we try to do is do our own court documents, which is what you're doing now, which is great. And a lot of you helping to get it together with Barry over there, brilliant. When you're in your own court, you must title all your documents from your court. You can use the same layout, but don't make the mistake of using their font, which is Times New Roman 11.5. So you don't want to make that mistake.
So any other font other than Times New Roman is your jurisdiction.
Yeah.
So Times New Roman is there. I knew that. You told us that before, and I had forgotten.
Okay. There's little things that'll catch you out all the time, like the size of the paper. We should be using foolscap because A4 is legal. We don't want to be in the legal jurisdiction. We want to be in the lawful. Lawful is foolscap. The legal font is Times New Roman 11.5. They use mainly. We can use any other font, but you don't want to use cursive. So the other things you'll get caught out on are if you use a maxim, the courts must obey maxims. But how they trick us is they put them in italics. So if we put the maxims in italics, it's called cursive language. Yeah. So you're cursing them. So don't have any italics on your paper.
Good point. Yes, that's something we've been told before when you were over here. You told us about that, but we have forgotten. And I must admit, someone did give me the foolscap paper, and although I haven't had any communication with the notary.
Barry, they told me you were...
Hey, Alex, you got any questions for Bill before, and then we'll get him going on something else?
Well, no, these are great fine points to have. And, we can certainly adjust everything that we're doing along those lines of not using New Times, not using A4 pages for documents. This is gold. And also to know how to do your standing. So how would you then, Bill, if an average person is standing in court and they say, well, Mr. Jones, how does he respond to that and establish his standing straight away?
I believe I'm principal for that trust.
Brilliant. Now, if the magistrate persists in calling him Mr. Jones, how does he correct the magistrate?
Are you offering me a new contract?
Brilliant. So the first thing he says is, I believe that I am the principal for that trust.
Yeah.
Is that the correct word?
Yeah. And there's another answer to that, Bill, isn't it? Are you trying to gain entry into my estate by false means?
Yeah, you can...
That's one of yours.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be challenging the judge or magistrate?
Well, the most important thing is what you have to realize is he's offering you a contract. Yep. It's how you negotiate that contract. Look, I'll give you an example. Although it's not happening now, but certainly for many, many years, people would get a note from their bank saying your interest rate has gone up. From such and such a date, it will go up to XYZ. Now, that's an offer to renegotiate the contract that you have with them. So if you write back to them straight away and say, thank you for your kind offer of renegotiating the contract, but we will stick with the original terms of the contract. Then you don't pay the increased rate.
Okay, so if we can just have, for the benefit of everyone again, I'm here, I'm Mr. Jones in court. The magistrate says to me, "Are you Mr. Jones?" I respond with,
"I believe I'm principal for that estate."
"I believe I am principal for that estate." Now, if he again calls me Mr. Jones, my response is,
"With all due respect, Your Honour, I believe I'm the principal for that estate."
And if he does it a third time, try to call me that, what do we say? He's got short-term memory loss?
He won't do it a third time.
Because?
Because he loses.
That's important for people to know.
Then he has to leave the court and come back under another jurisdiction.
And that's exactly what they'll do.
They get 3 shots at that. And that's a fun game to play.
So if he's called you Mr. Jones twice,
yep.
He knows he can't call you Mr. Jones again.
If he does it the third time, you win. Okay.
So the matter is ruled in your favour if he does that?
No, you must declare it, because the maxim says, "He who leaves the field of battle first loses by default." So you must make your decision then. But it's far better off, Alex, if you do your own court proceedings so that you don't embarrass them in front of everyone. You know, I mean, it's more important to just get these things to go away than to be standing up there trying to be the big hero in front of the judge.
So you can address this matter in writing before they drag you into court, before they arrest you and drag you into court. You can file something with them.
Yep. Now,
how would you do that?
Well, your common law court that Barry's setting up there is...
We are setting up, Bill.
Yeah, what we've been doing this for years over here, okay? And so we put our own court documents in, and we will quote their laws, but we won't, we'll put in square brackets, we will put CF, which is compare your, so you put a square bracket, open square bracket, capital C, small f, close square brackets. And then you put the legislation that they're using against you, compare this to what I'm saying. So, I've got a heap of paperwork here that I can show you. I can send you over habeas corpus and things like that. So we do them in our own court, then we give them a copy. And when they realize, you see, everything in their system is done by consent. You wouldn't believe it, but everything is done by consent. We have to consent to everything. And even when the judge is sentencing, he will not say, Alex, Alex is now sentenced. He would say, you are sentenced. So, well, would you go and get you and bring him in here? Because you is plural. And so it's just a matter of learning the little nuances with the words and their system to avoid the traps that you fall into.
So I would love if you could forward us some copies of some relevant documents, edited as necessary or highlighted as necessary, which we can keep as examples to educate people on how they should be responding to, say, driving infringements, or so the matter never gets to the court in the first place.
Yep.
And for those people who have been dragged before a court, to know how that they can present themselves.
That's always been Bill's motto, is to stay out of court, use the paperwork to avoid only corporations and deceased estates that go to court, isn't it, Bill?
Exactly. One of the most important things is to make sure that you've got your claimer right and your fee schedule in place, along with your identification, so that you're not identifying yourself as one of them. The moment it tells you on the bottom of your birth certificate, well, it does here anyway, it says not to be used as a means of identification.
Yeah.
if you use it, then,
So could you send us a brief draft of a claim of right as to what the wording should be?
I sent Barry one the other day.
Beautiful.
I updated my one because,
okay.
yep, I updated mine because I've got a new identity card now. The lovely Monica made me another identity card.
I've seen it. It's nice. I've got that. I'll send you a copy,
Settle
Alex.
down, Barry. Settle down.
Yeah. And is there a set format for a schedule of fees, or can that be anything that you want?
I sent that as well, didn't I, Barry, or not?
Yes, I've got. I've got that bill. Yeah,
Well, Barry, you've been holding out on us.
No, well, I didn't know you needed that. I'll send.
Well, what is actually happening, and once you understand what your role is, or your status, or your standing is, as the principal and beneficiary for that trust, drop that other word that you used.
Yep. It's gone. Can't even remember it now.
Yeah, I got rid of the X as well, but
two of them.
What you've got to realise, once you have your standing in place, then you'll know what is happening. You see, DOE, the all capitals, is a trust set up in the name of the Father. So that is trading now. Many years ago, we found out, back in about 2007, we did find how much that was trading for every year, or how much we were entitled to, and it was $227,000 a year that we were entitled to from that trust. Now, because we don't know how to access that trust, but trust me, a lot of people do know how to access that trust, and if we're not accessing that trust or haven't given notice to the people who are plundering that trust, so you do that with a PPSR filing. You also do it with your claim of right filing, and sending a notice of PPSR to Vic Roads and to all the other places who are harassing you. Oh, you're not in Victoria. You're in New South Wales, aren't you?
Oh, we're Victoria.
Victoria.
Oh, you're in Victoria.
Yep.
Yes, we're in Victoria, both of us, Bill. And we.
Oh yeah, no. I thought Alex was from New South Wales.
No, he's up the road in Victoria.
No, I'd be talking differently if I was from New South Wales.
Oh right.
You'd be watching 60 Minutes and hoping to hit.
I'd be going, mate and butt and.
Well,
so Bill, you were saying about that we do the filing with a PPSR and the claim of our right, and the notice of our PPSR to Vic Roads, etc. Would you like to pick up from there or recap?
Yeah, well, if you notify Vic Roads of your PPSR filing and send them your claim of right and your fee schedule, they'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why you guys don't do it. They keep fighting over a $10 bloody parking ticket, when it costs you probably $2 in stamps.
Oh, well, we have a better one here in Victoria. Alex, do you want to tell Bill what happened here with
this is
the fines company?
Priceless. All of the speeding fines and etc. You're asked to pay Fines Victoria, and one of the mates I know, he got one of these things, and he said, "I'm going to do a bit of background on that." So he went into fines and into the ATSEC registers and all of this, and there was no register of this Fines Victoria. So he said, "Well, I'll see if I can claim it." So he went in and he put an application in for Fines Victoria and Fines Vic, and it was approved. And he now owns Fines Victoria and Fines Vic.
Oh, boy.
So what sort of mess is that going to put them in?
Oh, they'll just change the name
again.
Well, they will, but in the interim, they're fraudulently taking money from people.
Yeah, indeed.
Which they've been doing from the past. Well, we're lucky in Victoria because they haven't linked it to in New South Wales, which the Labour Party, again, the Labour Party have succeeded from the government completely. There's private corporations. They're now ignoring the federal government, or the federal corporation. They're ignoring them. But New South Wales, being a Labour Party as well, the police force now will pull you up and arrest you if your car, if you're not registered, you haven't got a driving license. So, which is of course really unlawful. Very disappointing to see a really good police force, which was born out of corruption, did change, and now seems to the Labour Party have bought it out and made it a private corporation as well. Things are not improving; they're getting worse.
Yeah, well, we've got Mr. Ed over here, but yeah,
Mr. Ed.
let's go back to the contract. Okay, so understanding contract law is the key to everything. Okay, if you get offered a contract, it's how you respond to that, whether anything's going to happen to you or not. So you mustn't argue, you mustn't go silent, or if you agree to it, you've accepted the contract. Now, everything is done by consent. Policing is done by consent, but they'll frighten the living daylights out of you to get that consent. They'll put the fear of God into you to get that consent, which is not right, but it's how they do it. So it's just a matter of doing it in the correct way, and then the contract, you won't have that adhesion contract. Now, once a contract is formed, a trust is formed. So now that contract becomes a trust, and anything in that trust cannot be disclosed. You get that?
Yeah.
Trust, you must not disclose what is in the trust. Now, when you ask the police for their name, they know their rights, that they have the right to remain silent, so they don't need to give it to you. Oh, I see.
No, in Victoria, they're bound by law, and you'll find the police will give you their name. They do not, and rank and place of employment, so which station they work for. They're not obliged to give you their serial number. That's about all. Everything else they're obliged by law. It's in the Crimes Act. So Victoria, I can only speak for. I don't know about New South Wales or any other state, but Victoria definitely they will give you, and they will volunteer it as well.
Okay, over here they'll only give you their number, which is on their arm anyway. But yeah, so once you know your rights, you don't have to give that information out. But it's far better to be forearmed, which is with your identity card, which Barry is providing, and your claim of right and your PPSR filing, and you should be left alone.
Well, here's an interesting one, Bill, because I filed an injunction on Friday, and that was in my proper name. And the magistrate tried to call me the other name, which I said no. I didn't say no. I'm not that person. I said I am the principal, and then I gave him my proper name. I am X, Y, and Z, and he continued to try to get me to fall into the trap of admitting that I was the other, and he didn't. And he hung up the phone, said, I'm dismissing the application, and hung up the phone before even hearing anything. Now, when he made the order out, the court was made out to the capital lettered non-living estate as the applicant, when that was never the applicant's name.
Okay, so where do you think you went wrong? Because I can tell you.
No, I'm open, all ears.
Go for it, Bill.
You asked the court for an order. You didn't give the court an order. You must.
No, that's not true. I didn't make an application. I filed a direction to adjourn. I filed a direction. I took the position of being the authority and said that I was making a direction for them to make an interim junction.
No, once again, you're asking them to do something. There's a subtle difference, Alec.
Okay. No, I'm all ears.
Okay, so what you have to do is your court must make the decision and then give them a certified true copy of your decision.
Okay.
You're asking them for an injunction.
See, I wasn't asking for an injunction for me. I was actually directing them to make an injunction against the police.
Yeah, you make the order. Now you'll find the order forms in the back of the your High Court rules or District Court rules. You'll find the forms in there, and you'll find the order form. So you get the order form, and you just fill out one similar to that, but you give the order.
Yep.
Separate the living and the dead. Okay, so the living, in my case, is William Henry, and that's the principal. On the next line down is UPP, and that's the dead, which is the surname. So now you've got the living and the dead, and you put witness our hand and seals.
Got it. Excellent. That's why we went out and got the stamps. Most of us done. Sadly, a lot of people don't, and a lot of people won't even bother getting their ID. But
Bill, have you given a copy of that heading aspect to Barry?
The most important thing that you have to remember is that if you've got a court, be it the common law court, the sovereign's court, whatever court you want to call it, you and your peers decide on what is going to happen and what order is. Now, if you've got a PPSR filing and you put that filing number on there, they know everything they're trying to do is come in and make money for that trust. That's what they're doing. They're commissioned officers, so they're trying to make money for that trust. If they make money for the trust, they get a commission on it. So the judge gets paid, the person bringing the prosecution gets paid, and because they've switched roles on you and made you the trustee, then you have to pay. So you pay them.
Bill, what do you think of our plan here to set up the common law court, the International Common Law Court, the People's Court, and of course New Zealand, I think, is in on it as well, and Ireland. In fact, they're starting up in Croatia. I think it's over 100 countries. So are we on the right track?
Oh, absolutely. Everyone has the right to form their own government, to form their own state, to form their own court. It's a God-given right. This company that's running New Zealand, the company that's running Australia and the different states, they set up as de facto, and everyone thinks they're the only ones that can do it. No, that's not. Anyone can, but it's what I think what mainly is going on is people, let's put it this way, you can't be half pregnant. You're either pregnant or you're not, okay? So if you're going to be your own court, you don't go and file your documents in the court asking the judge to make a decision for you. That's the height of lunacy.
Is that like going to the mafia, the head of the mafia, to the Godfather and saying, can you take one of your henchmen and stop him beating me up every week?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so when your court makes a decision, you must make sure, and I've given you a few of the pitfalls that you're going to come across. You then take that order to the court and say, this is the order of our court. You only give them a certified true copy of it. You do not let them put their stamps anywhere near it, because the court is actually the paper.
Exactly. And is Mr. Ed the head of your state in New Zealand? Mr. Ed, I heard that they've changed the Prime Minister to a guy called, or a woman or something called Mr. Ed. Are you going to answer that one, Bill?
It's a lovely day here. Raining.
Well, our corporations, the Labour Party are in all the states, I think all the states here. And as I said, they have succeeded from the authority of the Commonwealth Corporation, which is the Commonwealth government. These are words, Alex and I have decided they're swear words now, government, person, and all these things. We're not going to use them anymore. And if we could get the living dead to adopt some of our principles, they'd be away from, because all this, I won't even mention this idiotic chicken virus, or you're going to call it the tooth fairies predictions, have well and truly removed us from reality, and it's crazy. It's crazy. Everybody's going to go broke, and I watched that movie again last night. They Live, where the black man, the white man, he had punished the living life out of him to wear the glasses, and it was just like what you'd have to do in reality with majority and sadly educated people. You would have to punch them into oblivion, and when they put the glasses on, they still probably wouldn't believe it, but that's how hard it is to get the message across to the living dead or the Walking Dead, whatever you wish to call them, they will not change. And I don't know how the name of heck we're going to convince the Walking Dead, because I don't want to insult sheep anymore, because they've got more intelligence. In fact, they're a lovely animal. Any ideas how we can wake up the living dead or get them to stop walking around in circles?
Well, I think a lot more have woken up over this period. A lot more have got more frightened in that. But when you actually get time to think and you get time to sit down and look at other things, I'm noticing, you probably noticed too, Barry, just the number of hits I'm getting on my YouTube and the number of people subscribing to me is increasing, daily. And so obviously people sitting at home, nothing better to do but sit and watch Bill.
I know. Yeah, apart from that, I think the fact this will backfire on them, because when people, if they do, the living dead wake up to the fact that they've been hoodwinked, and it will happen if they keep it going.
Yeah.
And it's got nothing to do with viruses of the flu. In fact, I don't know anybody. Do you know anybody in New Zealand who's even got a cold?
No.
Alex, do you know anybody who's got a cold anywhere? I haven't, and I've talked to the UK and stuff, Canada, nobody.
No.
So,
I've gone into the scientific aspects of everything, and it's a virus is not what they're telling us a virus is anyway, and the flu season is actually caused by UV light and the shift from the equinoxes and everything. So this is a common occurrence of regenerating the body. So we're being lied to about the whole thing, and it's being used as a tool. But Barry's right, it's backfiring on them because more people are waking up because of this. And this is what I think, we should be focusing on, is that people are waking up to the lies. They are waking up to the bullshit. And our role is to give them tools to be able to pull themselves out of that corrupt system.
And the proof of the pudding is they're not buying toilet rolls anymore. So they must be waking up. What do you reckon, Bill?
That didn't happen over here. But like you say, Alex, the wintertime, the shortened days is lack of vitamin D, and it's the vitamin D that keeps your immune system up.
It's all to do with replication of the DNA.
Yeah.
And the electromagnetic radiations are creating an increased rate of damage to DNA, and the body's way of dealing with that is to excise the damaged section of RNA, and that section of RNA is then coated in a lipid and expelled from the cell, and that's what they're finding, and they're calling that a virus. But it's not come into the body, it's actually the body's way of trying to get rid of it.
Spot on, bang on.
Exactly.
Bill, we've been having a Rabbit and Alex there for quite a while. Would you like to sum up and give some advice to the sheep who are awake and happy, and obviously pray that the Walking Dead may have a look and believe the sheep for a change? Go for it.
Thank you, Barry, and thanks for inviting me on to have a little chat to you guys. But the most important thing is establishing your standing. If you don't have any standing, you're going to be ignored. So by getting your PPSR, your claim of right, and your fee schedule done, and notifying the agencies. Look, once Vic Roads knows that you're on the PPSR, they will not send you a fine because they will have to pay it, not you. But you must forewarn, so you establish your standing and your status as principal of that trust, and then you will get left alone. They have to leave you alone because they're only commissioned officers coming in to make money for your trust. They switch roles on you in the court, make you the trustee, and the trustee always pays. Stick to the principle. You are the principal. The person coming in is only an agent looking for commission.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that, Bill. We'll get that up on YouTube, and obviously it'll be up on Bill Turner's YouTube in New Zealand, which is very popular in America. I've had a lot of people commenting. And thank you, Alex. It was a great information and a great sharing and great talking to everybody. So thanks very much. Dr. Barry in London News signing off. Have a look at this. Please share it. And if you know any of the Walking Dead, which it wouldn't be hard, you just got to look under the beds out in the next door neighbors, you'll find them. Ask them to wake up and have a look. Bye for now. Thanks for watching. Okay.